Hello, everybody. It's Danny James Collective. Welcome to today's episode of After Rehearsal Behind the Music. We get the beautiful opportunity of sitting down with singer, songwriter, producer, vocal director, and everything in between. You'll learn more about her story, but her name is Harlo Jaye, and she is a R&B, alternative, and soul artist based out of California. We'll get a chance to learn a little bit about her story, her background, what influences this very unique and distinct sound that comes through as she makes her music. Tune in for today. Check it out. Welcome, Harlo Jaye, to After Rehearsal Behind the Music. So happy to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing really well. Super excited to have you here. And the way I view these interviews, it's less interviews and more so of conversations. So just how we just got started, I'll ask different questions and there may be follow-ups, but I really just wanted to flow naturally, just kind of how we already organically started, because I'm a fan.
Okay. I'm a fan of you. So,
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it. And your voice feels like it's been through something. It's
mm,
powerful yet vulnerable, like it's telling stories it's lived. Take us back to the beginning. When did you first realize that music wasn't just something you enjoyed, but something you needed to express who you are?
that's a great and loaded question. I grew up doing choir. Music was always in the house, playing
Yes.
music loudly. My dad would be singing at like 6 in the morning. I'm like, damn, nobody can get rest in this house.
At all.
Um, and I would say that I've always had a love for it.
Mhm.
I didn't know it was something that I could pursue and be passionate about, and it could be a job.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think my junior year of college, I said, I'm just going to start. And so it's taken me a while to get my sound and to kind of figure out where I am mentally and what I want to talk about. So it takes like personal growth. Um, but yeah, that's how I've landed here.
I love that. I love that. Your sound feels like it has time traveled, like modern day Motown record infused with funk, heart, and truth. There's something classic yet refreshing about your approach. What was it like growing up, and how did you develop your sound into what it is today? Who or what shaped what blended your old school and new school energy of your sound?
Mm. I would have to say that my parents were a huge influence. My dad in like our basement, he had a closet full of just records and vinyls.
Yes.
He was an extreme lover of music, and so was my mom. And honestly, I would say like being around family, listening to music and having the feeling of feeling safe.
Mhm.
Um, I think subconsciously my brain just made the link. And old school music is just a part of like my brain chemistry at this point. But it took me a while to get to the point where I was comfortable making that kind of music because it's not mainstream music.
No.
It's not, yeah, like you don't hear a lot of that on the radio. So it
Right.
was like I was trying to do everything else but be myself.
Yeah.
Um, and so like I said, it took a lot of like internal growth. So that's been my kind of journey in exploring the funkier, soulful, with a touch of R&B vibe that I'm
Yeah.
giving.
Love it. As hard, because if you are like me, this is gonna be a hard question to answer.
Okay.
As hard as it may be to answer this question, if you could narrow down to who are the main influences of your sound today, which artist would you say?
Mm, okay. I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. Okay. Erica Badu,
Yes.
Nina Simone,
Yes.
absolutely obsessed. James Brown,
Yes.
Curtis Mayfield,
Yes.
um, the Isley Brothers,
Yes.
um, Etta James.
Yes.
I mean, I could go on for days. I could go on for days. But I would say those are the biggest influences in my life and on my music.
I love that. Of those artists that you listed off, what would you say you've kind of, what elements would you say you've taken from some of your favorites?
Mm, I would say I've taken from Nina Simone, I would say I've pulled from her this vulnerability.
Mhm.
I sense that when I listen to her music, I feel that she talks about things that a lot of people don't want to talk about it in a way that people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Um, so I would say I take her vulnerability and her boldness. And also too, I feel like she's pretty blatant in her lyrics, which is something that I like to do when I make music is just be not necessarily be jazzy with the lyrics or just be honest,
Right.
you know, as if you're writing in your diary. And then Erica, whew, Erica, so talented. Erica, I would say there's this tonality, um, and the way that she gets on it, it just feels the way she hops on a track feels timeless. Her
Yes.
tone and her voice, um, it just feels like you're time traveling. I think I take from her is that like that that sex appeal, that
Yeah.
funkiness and in the way that she sings and says things and um yeah, I think when I'm singing, sometimes when I'm singing I'm like channel that Erica, you
Yeah.
know? Um James Brown, just the funkiness. Like I have some tracks where I like scream a little bit, like a little
Yeah.
like ah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. Like, I mean, I love when artists just like let loose. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Kanye, he just when he screams on a track, I'm like, yes, I just want to scream. Um, so I would say I take from James that freedom.
Mhm.
Um, and then Curtis, he's also another artist that is very like funky,
Absolutely.
and has a good time. So I take bits and pieces from everyone. And then it's funny because you feel sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to copy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
copy someone, but it's like all artists are inspired by other people. And if you're not inspired by
Exactly.
other people, I don't think you're being honest with yourself.
I don't think you're
Um,
breathing.
I don't think you're breathing. And you don't have to be inspired by just artists. You can be inspired by nature. You can be
Right.
inspired by a painter. Um, so yeah, I really enjoy being inspired by other artists and people, and I have no shame about being honest about it.
Absolutely. I look at that answer like we can both be inspired by the same thing. Let's say it's a riff that somebody sings. I can approach it differently than how you approach it based off of our own experiences, how our voices are literally crafted, but then also I may add something on the back end. You may scoop
Yeah.
into the notes, right? I may sing it with more hoarseness. You may sing it straight tone. Like when it comes down to it, like how we interpret it is different.
Mhm.
Even though it may be the same run that we both want to do. And I think
Yeah.
that's what makes music and the study of all music just so beautiful.
Mhm.
I told you I'm a nerd about this. I could go. I could
I
go.
love it. I love it. And there's a way to steal like an artist, you
Yes.
know? And there's this book, I forget who it's by, but the title is literally Steal Like an Artist. And I think I read that when I was like 16, 17. And I was like, wow, like steal like an artist. Because when you think about stealing, there's a negative connotation to it.
Right.
But like anything, whether you go thrifting and you get a shirt or a pair of pants, someone's worn it before, but you're going to
Right.
style it differently, you know?
Right.
Which is beautiful.
I love that. So you're not just the voice, you're the vision from making music to literally directing video shoots, promoting, marketing. You seem to do it all. What is the journey like wearing all the hats of an independent artist while also balancing it? How do you kind of keep that creativity alive while still being authentic to what you're trying to do?
I think for me personally, I actually really enjoy all of it. I love creating the decks. I love making collages. And so how do I balance it? I think the mindset that I keep is that you're telling a story. All of it is telling a story.
Yeah.
And in a story, there's several components. It's not just the song, it's the visuals, it's maybe the behind the scenes content where you're shooting yourself talking about why you even wrote the song. Um, so I think if you can stay in the mindset of just like, I have a story to tell
Mhm.
with this track or this project, and what is that story? You're going to be so determined to tell the story front to back that it's going to feel like second nature, but it is hard to balance because a lot of artists are doing it for the first time, you
Right.
know? And I think a lot of people don't talk about like when you have limited resources, you can't follow the rule book, you know? You have to improvise.
Yes.
And that means sometimes there's artists that are shooting for 12 hours and you only have but so much to pay for a spot, for
Right.
3. And you're working with less, but less is actually more because it forces you to get more creative. And
Right.
sometimes the product is better than a, HD music video that
That
is
part.
overproduced. So,
I love
yeah.
that. So in really examining that behind the music, the next question it beautifully segues into. So behind the music, the stage, and the image, who is Harlo J? What grounds you when you're performing or creating? What are the passions, habits, or moments that define you outside of the spotlight?
Mm. Who is Harlo J? I think Harlo J is someone that doesn't have the answers,
Mm,
who is figuring life out. Um, but the music is synonymous with my, like what I said before, my diary. So I'm very vulnerable. I think Harlow is somebody that is afraid, but
mm,
she's showing courage because she has to. Um, yeah, I mean, I think also Harlow too is like she's having fun. She's having fun. She's learning about herself. Um, and you can't put her in a box. Can't put her in a box. Like if I showed my vault of music, they'd be like, "Is this Avril Lavigne?" Like what?
yeah.
But yeah, I like to explore. And so I would say Harlow is somebody that loves to explore. In terms of like habits and um, practices, whether they be spiritual, I'm a huge God person. And I don't mean God in like I'm Christian, I'm Catholic. I mean God and like I talk to him or her or whatever being you want to say God is. I am in constant communication all day long. Um, and I think that has helped me even do music in the first place
Yeah.
because I have God telling me to be, true to myself. So,
What would you say is the most difficult aspect of when you're being authentic and true to yourself and you have to dig into those moments and those things that are tough when you're writing?
mm, mm. I would say the hardest part is I think sometimes just articulating how you feel in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, I'm someone that sometimes when I'm going through things, I isolate.
Yeah.
And then also too is like I don't even really know how to verbalize what it is I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So writing forces you to break that down. You know what I mean? And then you also have a beat. So you're like, how do I break this down on the beat? So there's steps and there's layers to it
Right.
where you're having to deconstruct a feeling. Um, so I think sometimes the hardest part is, I would say one, finding the words for it in the first place, but also two, like, I guess simplifying it for people. because
Yeah,
I tend to have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings. Um, and you don't want your audience to feel confused. So
that part.
I think that's the hardest part.
That part. You've described your artistry as unpolished and unapologetic. In a world where everything feels cookie cutter or overly refined, that's powerful. What does that mean to you personally? And how do you resist the pressure of being more commercial and stay rooted in your truth?
Mm. I think touching on that God aspect is a huge, huge part of it, but also too, um, I think there's cycles with things, right? So like with fashion, with music, with all things creative, it comes back in a circle. And I think we're in this point where it's like with all these um evolutions in technology and AI and how you're able to revolutionize music through the creation process through these tools that are so amazing, sometimes things can sound too perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, too engineered. And I think we're going back to the basics. We want the real instruments. We want honesty. We want to relate. We want community. Um, in a world where we're kind of regressing from that. So yeah.
I love that. I remember seeing an interview where Dark Child was talking about doing when he produced Brandy's Full Moon album
Mm,
and how he didn't quantize anything,
wow.
and how he wanted everything to sonically feel uneven where it felt uneven, to tug on the beat where it needed to tug on the beat, to be ahead when it needed to be ahead, and how working on the Invincible album with Michael Jackson helped to shape how he approached working with Brandy, and how the layering and the stacking of literally 6 to 8 different stacks and doubles of a singular part, how infusing those and then being able to add the vocal chain and compressions and such, how it just made it sound so different. But now,
Mhm.
how that's literally the blueprint of how we look at stacking and layering vocals. We listen to a D'Angelo. We listen to uh, so many people.
I know. Makes
Uh,
you cry.
yeah, is oh man, like that's why I love doing this, because I'm like, I get to talk with nerds all the time,
Yeah.
and yeah, I I'm gonna stop you. I love your answers. You're so true and genuine. This
Oh,
interview is refreshing.
oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like I said, I've never done this before, but when I do it, I want to do it with people like you because this feels good. It doesn't feel like any
yeah.
weird energy. It feels good. So
You embody a beautiful duality, both soft and strong, fierce but soulful. How do you balance the energy of your life through your music? Are there times when your strength hides your softness, or do they coexist naturally?
I think I think Harlo Jaye is my alter ego, if I'm being honest. I think I'm able to be more powerful in who she is. I'm able to be more playful. I'm able to be sexy. I'm able to be sad and vulnerable. Um, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people in my life would say that I'm not the most emotional person.
Hmm.
Um, just readily and openly. Um, but I'm extremely emotional. I feel everything. And I think that's partially why I make music, so I can get it all out.
Right.
But I think Harlo J allows me to do that. And so I think she's like my bestie and she's just like a better version of me, I would think. And I feel that way.
I
So,
love that. When you find yourself getting on a stage, or even embodying the persona of Harlow J and everything that you need for her to be,
mhm.
what shifts or changes do you see in that moment where you're like, all right, we're locked in?
The little girl
Mm,
that couldn't even fathom that I would be like courageous enough or have the audacity to get on stage or to sing in front of other people or to put out music that people might misunderstand. Um, I think of the little girl, um, that would be so proud. And then I also too think about the artists that literally give me like shivers
Mm.
because the music is so impactful and it allows me to understand myself and the human experience more. And so I kind of just I try to take who I am currently out of it
Yeah.
and more so focus on like, damn, like you're doing something that little you would be like, that's so dope. Like you're doing something that is unconventional and that maybe your parents aren't super proud of or your sisters don't fully understand, you know? Um, so yeah.
I love that. Every person, like we were talking about earlier, every person has those highs, but then they also have those times where things are low, and not only low, but you really just hit your bottom.
Yeah.
Describe how you were feeling when you were at your lowest, both personally, musically, emotionally, and what are lessons learned at the bottom, and then how were you able to get out? Was it through music, people, faith?
Mm. I would say that 2022 was a really tough year for me. Um, Grief, just a lot of changes. And I think what helped me get through it was just telling myself to just put it in music. Um, I think, like I said before, I'm someone that tends to isolate. So when I had this time alone to think about the pain and the things that I didn't want to accept, um, I put it in the music. And I know it's hard because, you know, you're going through stuff and you don't want to sit at your computer or you don't want to go to the studio because you're going through so much internally. But if you can tell yourself, I'm not the only person that's having this experience.
Right.
Um, Someone will benefit from this. I think that will help you in the long run because it helps you heal and it helps you. This may sound like the opposite of what you should be doing, but it helps you take yourself out of it. And so it softens the blow a little bit.
Love that. When you step into the booth or onto the stage, what is your why? Beyond the charts or the crowd, what is the message or mission that keeps you creating?
I often think about like someone, if I sent someone the song and it hadn't been released yet, and I asked them to go on a night drive and like play it in their car. Because I think oftentimes, like when I'm feeling like I need time to myself or whatever, I get in the car, I drive, I turn a track on, and I'm like, oh, I step out of the car and I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. And that's what I want to recreate is someone to put that track on in the car. And I want it to alter their perception of maybe what it is they're going through or just the world in general. Um, and I want them to feel that feeling that I've gotten from other artists where it's like literal chills, where I'm like, oh my God, this song, what spirit like was bestowed upon them to like make this? Like this is insane. Like I want to recreate that feeling.
And you did. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, like the first scrolling through, like I was saying in the beginning, like scrolling through, I was like, who is this? Like, and then not just that song, but listening to Superstitions and Slap Your Mama.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm like, oh, this okay. And just listening, oh, because I went all the way back, and I'm like, what? It
I'm so
is,
happy that you have that feeling.
yeah. I think just being able to listen to and understand what you're trying to accomplish sonically from the first note is like, oh yeah, it's only a matter of time. before we are covering behind the scenes of you at Hollywood Bowl and all these different places and tour and every song, every album you come out with, we'll do another interview and we'll roll it more out. I got you.
I can't wait to
I'll,
hit you up and be like, hey, so I'm about to win a Grammy. You wanna?
yes, yes. And I'll be like, behind you. I'm already here. I'm already here.
I teleported.
When you write a record, what are the creative process of it? Are you someone who channels the emotion in real time? Do you need space to reflect before creating? What does Harlo J session feel like?
Hmm. Harlo Jaye session. It looks different every time. Sometimes I'll be on a walk and something will inspire me and I'll put it in my notes and then I'll make that the center of the story and just go in the studio and record it. Um, Sometimes I will find a beat that I love, start writing, record it immediately. But one thing I do have to say is that I typically like to just go and record. Like if I write something, I'm not gonna sit on it and then record it tomorrow. I
Yeah.
usually like to at least get a general foundation laid down. So that's something that stays pretty much consistent. But it looks different. Sometimes I come in the studio like straight in the morning and I feel angry or sad or whatever, and I find a beat and I try to record as soon as possible to capture the feeling. So it looks different every time.
Do you like to take the approach of trying to record a song a day?
I do. And I'm getting better at it because I think for me, I can be a bit of a perfectionist. And so I can make a song in a day and then I'm like, okay, that's good. But like I need to hear this over here and I need to hear this from coming from back here and I need a riff over here and I need, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there are times where I'm like, okay, you're gonna spend one day on this song, and then say that's like a Saturday, and then it's like Monday or Tuesday, and I'm on the song doing little tweaks to it, and I'm like, okay, Haley, let's move on, you know? So I have to have those, or Harlow, I should say. Um, I
Yeah,
like,
I peeped that in the Zoom thing. I was like,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Um, but I have to, there's a, I feel like oftentimes being an artist is like teetering of the line.
Yes.
So like when we were speaking about taking yourself out of the music, but you're the person that made the music, you know? So you have to have a bit of yourself in it. So it's teetering that line of like compartmentalizing, you know? But then also too, like with making music, it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna make a song based off of a feeling. And that's very emotions based. But then you have to take the discipline and be like, okay, but we told ourselves that we're gonna do 5 songs this week, you know? So it's a teetering of the line all the time.
I love that. Looking ahead, how do you want your legacy to be? Not just as a singer, but as a woman, creator, and storyteller. Um, what type of projects would you like to create? What type of collaborators would you like to incorporate within that? And how do you want people to feel when they hear your name?
I think the main goal for me is to be, I'm not necessarily focused on winning accolades. I'm not necessarily focused on the outcome. I think for me, what I want to come from my music is a timelessness. Like the f- the fact that Nina Simone made music that my dad listened to, now I listen to, my kids will listen to, hopefully their kids will listen to. That is something that I value so much. I value it not only in music, I value it in clothes. A lot of my favorite pieces are passed down from family or, got them at a thrift store and they had a story before, they reached my hands. So I think for me, the most important thing is timelessness. And I want I don't want just women to feel empowered. I want men, women, children, when they hear the music to like dance in the rain, you know? Like, yeah, life is life. It's not always sweet, but if you can find a way to dance through it, like
I love
that's the
that.
key.
I love that.
Yeah.
This has been super dope. This has been absolutely dope. I appreciate your time and this entire conversation. It brightened my day. It definitely
Thank
brightened
you.
my day. I appreciate you for real.
Thank you so, 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 so much. I'm so happy that we connected, and thank you for having me.
In today's episode of After Rehearsal Behind the Music, we had the wonderful opportunity of sitting down with Harlo Jaye. We learned about her story, her upbringing, her influences, and all the things that go into her sound. The very beautiful and distinct sound that goes into her music. We encourage you to stream, listen, follow, purchase her merch, and support everything that she's got going. Take a listen to her newest song, Stuck to You, on all streaming platforms. Run it up, y'all. As always, subscribe to the podcast and take a look at the other 6 episodes that we have released on this platform. Take a look, take care, be blessed.